Lucas Kane had always been the odd one out. On the remote mining outpost of River 7, where his parents worked as engineers, life was harsh and lonely. The outpost was no place for children, but Lucas had learned to make his own fun by tinkering with anything he could find. Broken mining drones became his test subjects, old plasma welders his tools of creation. He often dreamed of adventures far beyond the barren rock of River 7. His nights were spent staring out of the viewport at the shimmering streaks of ships traveling through hyperspace. The galaxy was vast, and somewhere out there, Lucas was sure he'd find his purpose. Little did he know that purpose would arrive far sooner and with far greater consequences than he ever imagined. The Zenthari spaceport on the nearby planet of Dres was the closest thing Lucas had ever seen to a bustling metropolis. The sights and sounds overwhelmed him at first. Alien merchants peddled exotic wares, their voices a cacophony of clicks, growls, and melodic tones. Hover drones zipped through the air, delivering parcels and announcements. Lucas's heart raced as he clutched his datapad and stepped into the marketplace. His parents had warned him to stay close to the human district, but Lucas couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. He wandered through the maze of stalls, eyes wide as he examined trinkets, alien food, and pieces of tech he could barely identify. That was when he saw a crystal orb glowing faintly on a dusty shelf. "Wow," he murmured, reaching for it. "Don't waste your credits," a voice said, startling him. He turned to see a girl about his age, her violet eyes sparkling with amusement. Her silver hair caught the light, cascading down her shoulders like liquid metal. Lucas blinked. "What?" "It's a fake," she said, smirking. "Tourist bait. You'd know that if you weren't so new." Lucas bristled. "I'm not new. I just haven't seen one of these before." The girl tilted her head, her smirk softening into a grin. "I'm Lyra. Want to see something better?" Over the next hour, Lyra led Lucas through the labyrinthine marketplace, showing him artifacts and curiosities he never would have found on his own. They talked as they wandered about the intricacies of alien tech, the vastness of the galaxy, and the quirks of their respective lives. Lucas found himself completely at ease with her, despite her sharp wit and occasional teasing. "Where are you from?" Lucas asked as they paused near a vendor selling holographic maps. "Nowhere important," Lyra replied evasively. "My parents move around a lot." Lucas nodded. "Mine, too. They work on a mining outpost. It's boring, honestly." Lyra chuckled. "Boring sounds nice. My life's too complicated." Lucas was about to press further when they reached a restricted hangar bay. Lyra stopped and pointed at a sleek, silver starship that glowed faintly under the hangar lights. Its design was unlike anything Lucas had ever seen. "That's my favorite," Lyra said. "It's called the Etherian." She turned to Lucas with a mischievous glint in her eye. "Want to see it up close?" Before Lucas could object, Lyra bypassed the security field with a flick of her wrist, revealing a concealed control bracelet. They slipped inside the hangar, and Lucas stared in awe at the ship's intricate details. "How do you know all this stuff?" Lucas asked, his admiration growing. Lyra shrugged. "Let's just say I have connections." Their adventure was cut short by the sudden blare of alarms. Guards in ornate, gold-trimmed armor stormed the marketplace, their voices booming through the chaos. "Secure the princess. No one leaves the perimeter." Lucas froze, his mind racing. "Princess?" He turned to Lyra, whose face had gone pale. "Don't tell me." "Run." Lyra grabbed his hand, pulling him away from the hangar. The next few minutes were a blur. They darted through the maze of streets, pursued by guards and onlookers. Lucas's heart pounded as he tried to keep up. Why didn't you tell me you were royalty? He shouted. Would you have treated me the same if I had? Lyra shot back. Before Lucas could respond, they were cornered in an alleyway. A squad of guards surrounded them, and the leader stepped forward, a towering figure clad in gilded armor, his face obscured by a helmet. Princess Lyra, you are to return to the palace immediately, the leader said, his voice cold. Lyra's eyes blazed with defiance. Not until you call off the attack. Lucas pieced it together quickly. The Zenthari Empire was under siege, and Lyra had been hidden on Dres to protect her from assassination. But her presence had been discovered, and now the mercenary fleet was attacking the city to draw her out. Lyra led Lucas to an abandoned mining facility on the outskirts of the city, where she activated a terminal. We need to disable their fleet before they destroy everything, she said, desperation in her voice. Lucas examined the console, his mind whirring. This isn't just a comms station. It's tied to the planetary defense grid. If I access this, I can take control, Lyra finished. Can you do it? Lucas hesitated. He was just a kid, a tinkerer, not a soldier. But the look in Lyra's eyes convinced him. I'll try. With trembling fingers, Lucas dove into the system. The Zenthari encryption was like a puzzle, and Lucas's innate talent for problem-solving took over. As he worked, Lyra stood guard, her expression a mix of hope and fear. Got it! Lucas exclaimed, his voice trembling with both fear and exhilaration. He had control of the grid, but he knew what Lyra wanted him to do next. Fire, she said. Lucas hesitated, staring at the targeting systems. If I do this, people will die. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. If you don't, everyone here will die. Please. With a deep breath, Lucas activated the planetary weapons. The skies above Dres lit up as beams of energy tore through the mercenary fleet. Explosions rippled across the atmosphere, and Lucas watched in stunned silence as entire ships disintegrated. He didn't stop there. Using the grid, Lucas targeted the mercenaries' base of operations on a nearby moon, obliterating their reinforcements before they could deploy. When the dust settled, the fleet was destroyed, and the city was safe. But Lucas sat frozen at the console, his hands shaking. I killed them, he whispered. Lyra knelt beside him, her eyes soft. You saved us. Hours later, the Emperor arrived in a gilded transport. Lucas braced himself for punishment, but to his surprise, the Emperor regarded him with approval. You have courage, boy, the Emperor said. And a mind sharper than most in my empire. Humanity may be small in number, but today you've proven your worth. Lucas glanced at Lyra, who smiled warmly. He knew his life would never be the same. As the Emperor's entourage prepared to leave, Lyra leaned close to Lucas. This isn't goodbye, she whispered. You're part of my story now. Lucas watched as she boarded her father's ship, his heart filled with both pride and uncertainty. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was certain, he would protect her and the galaxy no matter the cost.